Joe met with Beyond Stillness 5 times to articulate and publicly share this story of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope. This interview was recorded during the final meeting together. To learn more about our programs, services, or to sponsor a guest on their story crafting journey, please visit www.beyondstillness.org. This episode is made possible by Stroke Onward. For more information on Stroke Onward, please email connect@strokeonward.org or see the episode description for links to their website and Deborah Meyerson's book, Identity Theft: Rediscovering Ourselves After Stroke. Today, we welcome guest Joe Malinowski. Joe spent decades standing up for others as a union leader and advocate for abused children. But after a stroke, he was left questioning his own worth. In this episode, Joe shares how people around him, his care team, his wife, and fellow survivors empowered him when he couldn't see his own strength. Now, Joe is giving back, using his story to uplift other stroke survivors. From isolation and paralysis to connection and purpose, Joe reminds us how deeply healing it can be to feel seen, heard, supported, and believed in. Thank you for joining us for Part 2, Joe Malinowski's interview.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke. Stroke offers a powerful, life-changing shift in perspective. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Beyond Stillness offers a moment of pause for storytelling and reflection. Ultimately, we create a welcoming environment that reveres the moment beyond stroke's paralysis. Still moments unite humanity and divinity. I'm your host, Molly Bucola. As we begin today, we take a moment of pause, a moment to honor the way that wisdom has emerged through recovery. And we give thanks. Now, Joe's interview. Joe, thank you for sharing your story. You spent your life empowering others, but then after your stroke, you were left pondering, what do I have to give now? You said Encompass Rehab helped you kickstart your confidence. In what ways did they do that?
There were so many good stories there. 2 girls that had played sports with my daughter in high school were PTs at Encompass.
Yeah.
And one of them would stop on her way in at the employee cafeteria and get me a large coffee with cream, caffeinated coffee, and would bring it into my room on her way into work every morning. And it was so nice having both of these girls. One of them I went to school with her father, and just having both of these girls in there was just wonderful. There was so many good experiences that came out of Encompass. I could go on for hours, but most of it was the laughter. My last day there, I was being discharged. I had PT in the morning before Mary was picking me up, and I was taking steps using the railing, not using the Hemi, and walking. And the director of nursing came out in the back hall to watch me walk. And after I sat back down in the wheelchair, she burst into tears and hugged me. Mm. And that was COVID time. That was no touching. You couldn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
It just things like that. It was just amazing.
It's the humanity in it all.
It was.
Yeah. You were acknowledged as an individual in this process.
Yes.
To personalize their program to the survivor is so
Yeah.
important. And it sounds like they saw you as an individual. They saw your
They,
humor, they saw your preferences. And it sounds like you do that now by listening to other
yeah.
survivors
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
acknowledging them in their uniqueness too. It's beautiful.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. Joe, you mentioned empowerment throughout your story. It was a main theme. For you, what does empowerment mean?
When you hear something getting motivation, it means that you're able to overcome something. The children who are abused, empowerment with those kids is they don't have to live in fear. I mean, you'd have 250, 300-pound bikers at these little girls' houses having a tea party and playing out in the backyard in the swings and getting their nails done by these girls. Anything our kids wanted, we would never say no to them. You want to put makeup on one of these bikers? Yep, go ahead. You can do it. It's empowerment. It's that ability to feel like you can overcome something, know you can overcome something and push forward.
Uh,
That's empowerment to me.
in your story, you said facing their abuser when you were talking about the children. And in the sense of stroke, it's almost facing our own recovery.
Stroke. Yeah.
You said the work as part of Baka was sad and rewarding
Yeah.
and a lot of fun. And you have talked about ways that recovery has been really challenging, even this week, hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
sad,
I've had some bad days. Yeah.
and incredibly rewarding when you engage in a way that feels purposeful. And you mentioned humor, a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I take away is getting some humor out of these things. It's really being able to laugh, I think, was what made me survive. You can imagine during COVID, it was private rooms, of course, at Encompass, but no visitors. Everybody's in masks. And they were supposed to wear gloves when they were doing anything with us. It was just, oh, it was such a horrible time.
Yeah.
Not being able to move, being dependent on somebody to come get you out of bed. It was horrible.
And these days, when you face difficult moments, what do you do? What are your tools that motivate you forward?
This crazy dog that's asleep next to me. Music, friends, pushes like Wednesday nights. We've had an ongoing dinner date Wednesday nights for going on 10 years. And the day of my stroke, he texted me because it was our week to buy. We take turns buying. And I got a WTF. You didn't want to buy tonight, you cheapskate? And I said, when I got home from rehab, we had joked about, you can joke about it because you're there, but we had joked about that I need to wear a helmet after my stroke. And it was a joke. And I have that sense of humor. He has that sense of humor. And so first time he came to see me after I was home, he gives me a box. He says, "Here, I got you a gift." I open up, it was a hockey helmet. So somewhere there's a picture of me sitting in my garage in a wheelchair with a hockey helmet on.
Oh,
But it was that kind of sense of humor. Before my stroke, his wife at 52 years old had what seemed to be a stroke. And so I would spend a lot of time talking to him. He was at the hospital with her, he was at the rehab center with her. And they found out after some months it was melanoma that had gotten to her brain.
oh.
And so we went through the whole hospice procedure with him and her, and we were there before she passed, and we've been there after. We're so connected.
How did her experience inform you as you went through recovery?
It freaked me out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, at times it freaked me out because I didn't know if I was going to live.
Mm-hmm.
When I first had the stroke, they said to me, "We don't know if this is a brain tumor. We don't know what it is. We won't know until the blood goes away."
Mm-hmm.
And the first neurologist I saw after being out of rehab was uninformative. And we went in with a list of questions and came out with no answers.
Yeah.
So it was very frustrating. So I still didn't know. Do I have a brain tumor? What do I have? What's going on?
That sounds very confusing and frustrating and sad. You were also surrounded by friends, much like how you showed up for your friend and his wife during that time. So on difficult days, you turn to your friends, you turn to others.
Oh, yeah.
And you mentioned empowering others in big and small ways
Yep.
in your story. So, what does that look like today in everyday life for you? How are you empowering others on a daily basis?
I think people see me sometimes and they say, holy cow, if he can do this, look at everything he's gone through. You're still doing this. You're still able to do whatever I do. Like today, grocery shopping.
Yeah, yeah. What message would you share with someone listening who feels that they've lost their voice or purpose and haven't quite found that empowerment piece yet?
You got to keep searching. You got to find what works for you. Honestly, the thing that worked for me the most early on was going back, talking to the people at Encompass. I joined the weekly stroke group that's run by a woman by name Kathy Post, who is a professor of occupational therapy at Springfield College. She actually retired, so she was professor emeritus, and she just went back to work at Springfield College. And she is working in the physical therapy department as an OT with students. She does one of the few weekly stroke groups. We meet every Thursday at 3 o'clock, and it's a core group of probably, we've grown, it's probably 11 people. And there's this thing about talking to other survivors. I've made some connections. There's a woman from New Hampshire, actually, who I was on one of the Facebook groups about stroke, and her daughter reached out to me and said, I wish you'd talk to my mom. And I said, why? And she says, well, I read what you posted on that Facebook group. And she said, my mom had a stroke and she's not doing well mentally. And can you talk to her? And I said, well, tell her to Facebook friend me. And she did. Her name's Judy, and she's my age. And we text 3 or 4 times a day.
Hmm.
She's having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. We are constantly in contact. There's another guy who I met on the stroke group that lives in Chicopee. He's an RN. He's only 54 years old. And he will check in with me, or I will check in with him. So there's this community of us stroke survivors who nobody understands us. Like you look in a mirror and you know what you're talking about. You understand. And do people understand you, Molly? Do they know what it was like to go through a stroke? Do I? Do you? Yes, we do. And unfortunately, there's that club that we belong to. There's nobody better than another stroke survivor. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a good day, whatever it is, those are the people that I think help the most. And again, they empower me, I empower them.
Hmm. And how about people who haven't found other stroke survivors? What do you suggest for them?
If it wasn't for the stroke monologues and for Stroke Onward, I would have never been in touch with you. I had no idea you existed. You were out there. I'm putting the word out on you at our group. I was like, check this out. And I've got a lot of my friends, I've sent the link to Beyond Stillness.
Oh,
And these are people that haven't had strokes. And
yeah.
I say, watch Molly's story.
Hmm.
And they come back to me and they're like, oh my God, wow. My daughter, I said, go on to this, her and her partner. I said, go on to this and watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this young lady. And they were just amazing. And I think that's maybe my mission now is I'm trying to spread the word more of how to find good resources because there's a lot of them that suck.
Mhm.
There's a lot of them out there. These Facebook groups, I've left all of them. I don't go to
Hmm.
any of them anymore. And there's people looking for cures and wanting medication advice. And it's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. That's empowerment too, Joe. The way that you're connecting, texting with fellow survivors every
Oh,
day
yeah.
throughout the day, sharing resources. These are all different forms of empowerment. You are taking this resource and offering it to someone else. You're
Yeah.
offering encouragement, you're offering support, and some days you're down, and some days they're down, or some days you're up and they're up. And together we create this whole.
Right. Yeah,
Together we can
exactly.
lift each other.
And I think a lot of it is exactly that. And it's you find a resource and you share it. I've had more family members, friends. I have identity theft on my Kindle. And I actually bought a copy of it because I had so many friends saying, "Oh God, I want to read that." So I bought a paperback copy of it, and it's passed around from so many of my friends. And actually, some of them are coming over later this afternoon to get some asparagus, but they're stopping by. And they took the time to read this book. And when I was talking about how people you connect with, these are two women I went to high school with and their husbands. One of them I've known for 60 years, and the other one we've known each other for a long time. Her husband and I probably 20 years. But these people all took the time, and they're the ones that I talk about. We go out to coffee, we do stuff together, and it's no different than it was before I had the stroke. But
Huh.
they make a point of it now.
Yeah.
And they wanted to learn all they could learn about strokes. And yes, I had them watch and look at Beyond Stillness too, you know.
And Joe, you spoke about friends and how there are friends that became closer and other friends that disappeared.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes as stroke survivors, we need to empower our friends with
Yeah.
resources, like you're saying, so that they can learn more about stroke and get a better sense of what might be going on in our lives. And sometimes
That
friends just don't know where to start. And so you are empowering your circle of people as much as you're saying that they are empowering you
yep.
and supporting you.
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to somehow reach out and support each
But
other.
one of my friends that I go to coffee with, she's looked at Beyond Stillness and she also read Identity Theft and a couple other things. And every so often she'll say, I just got to tell you, you're amazing. And I'm like, no, I'm not, you know,
Yes, you are.
and that's what it goes around to. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Joe, when we stop and think about how far we've come or what we've been through or who we've become or are working to become, it's amazing. Each and every one of us has an amazing story when we stop and look at the different elements. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you for taking time for the 5 weeks or so that we worked in advance for the stroke monologues. Thank you
It
for taking
was,
time to think about it in a variety of different ways.
I think that's hard sometimes to see that I do have value and I still have it. Stubbornness is a lot of me too, Molly. I'm stubborn. I'm determined to, I'll try to find a way to do something. And my whole orb of saying, do one thing every day that scares you.
Yeah.
All right, you're it today. You
Yeah.
win.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking time and energy and facing your fear today to record
Thank
your
you.
story and to reflect and to prepare and to share and to continually empower others. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Molly. You're amazing. You just, I don't know how often you hear that, but you are in the work you're doing here. That's the biggest thing I want people to get out of this whole thing is finding resources like you
Mm,
and the stroke onward, finding all these because there's good resources out there.
yeah.
And you know, you're doing such an important thing by you're empowering people to tell their story.
Mm, thank you. See, we all have something to give.
We do.
We're all
We do.
doing it in a different way. Thank you, Joe.
No.
Uh,
I
it's
really enjoy it,
been,
Mom. If you ever want me to talk again, do anything, I'm
oh,
here. You know, I really enjoy it, and you really have just a way about you of
mm,
putting this through all together,
thank you, dear.
Molly. And
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's really been, I've looked forward to our sessions.
I do too, Joe. I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
yeah, I look forward to it. It's
Oh,
like
me
a
too.
good spot in the day.
Storytelling empowers us to share our experiences in a way that invites others to reflect on their own. In closing, we offer a reflection question as an opportunity to spark dialogue with yourself, friends, family, or fellow stroke survivors. In a moment, I will read our community conversation prompt. You can also find it written in the episode description. How has supporting someone else in their recovery helped you in yours? We'd love to hear your reflections. Join the conversation on Facebook or Instagram at Stories After Stroke.
Beyond Stillness, Stories After Stroke is made possible by our guests and tax-deductible donations from friends and listeners like you. Join us in empowering stroke survivors with stories of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope at www.beyondstillness.org. Another way to support is to like, share, or subscribe to our weekly show.
Thank you for listening to Part 2, Joe Malinowski's interview. For the full story, please listen to Part 1, Joe Malinowski's story. Each colorful memory creates a parable for life's greater teachings, a compass for journeys ahead, and inspired wisdom for unique growth. Joe reminds us that the support of others can help us rise, and that purpose can be reclaimed through connection, resilience, and the intention to empower others. Remember, as part of the stroke community, you are more than supportive. You are inspirational. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, subscribe, or leave a review to help others find our stories too. To support more stroke survivors in articulating and sharing their journeys, please consider donating to Beyond Stillness Stories After Stroke. Together, we amplify diverse voices of wisdom, purpose, connection, and hope.